Hey kiddos, here's the feedback section for Spiral 13. We're going to start off with polynomial division. The first thing that I'm seeing is setting up division and then not really knowing what to do much after that. So let's talk about that. We got x to the third, we got 6x squared, minus 3x, and plus 5. I've seen a lot of the first step, okay, x squared, and then putting a minus 2 up top just because that's here. But what we're really doing is we're going to distribute down and write both answers below. So it's x to the third minus 2x squared. Generally, if people got this far, you actually did okay. Most people caught that we got a minus and negative here, which actually makes this 8x squared. And then bring down the minus 3x. When we multiply x to get to 8x squared, it's plus 8x. We distribute, and we get 8x squared minus 16x. When we go to subtract that, we get 0, and we get positive 13x. Bring down a 5, and I'm going to keep plus there. We're going to do the same thing. To get from x to 13x is going to be plus 13. When I distribute this down, we get x 13x, and then minus 26. When I subtract, we get a 31 here. That means that my remainder is 31, so I'm going to write that as 31 over x minus 2. Using synthetic division to check your work, generally we're doing better at this actually. We're going to do an x minus 2 out front, which means that 2 goes here. We get 1, 6, negative 3, and 5. 1, 2, 8, 16, 13, 26, and 31. And the last piece, if you're doing synthetic as the only way you're dividing, you absolutely must show me that this means 1x squared plus 8x plus 13 plus 31 over x minus 2. And just as a reminder, if you do synthetic division only, you cannot get full credit for this section, but you'll get like 8 out of 10 for that. Is x minus 2 a factor? Nope. And we got an r equal to 31, and that's why. Is x equals negative 2 a factor? No. We got r equals, sorry, is x equals negative 2 a 0? No, it's because of the same reason. We got r equals 31. That means that, I don't know, I think this is like p of whatever. 2 would be equal to 31. All right. Next up, we got the rational root theorem. The first part, people did a nice job trying on. We're looking for the good guesses, and here it's going to be based on factors of 20. So there are a lot of them. And they're going to be plus or minus 1, plus or minus 2, plus or minus 4, plus or minus 5, plus or minus 10, and plus or minus 20. I'd also accept these if you had written these as factors, which would look like x minus 1 or x plus 1, and that would be fine. We're going to use division. And a lot of people set up the first division totally fine. You might do like x minus 1 because it's the first one that we have here. That means that's a plus 1. We've got 1, negative 2, minus 19, and 20. I'm going to bring that down. 1, 1, which is negative 1, negative 1, negative 20, and negative 20. Hey, which gives us 0. It's kind of cool. We got that on the first try. And if you do, then you can go to factor this, because that's x squared minus 1x minus 20. I'd also like you to make sure that you take that x minus 1 and put that in the first parentheses. Factoring this, we got a times c is negative 20, b is negative 1. That's going to give us x minus 5 and x plus 4. Those are my other two factors. Keep the colors consistent. Scroll up a little bit so I can actually write. And x minus 5. Okay. if you didn't guess right the first time, the goal here is really just keep trying. And you try until you find one that works, and then once you do, if for some reason you hate factoring more than anything in the universe, you could also just take what you have left as an answer, and instead of doing factoring, do 1 minus 1 and minus 20, and keep going. And just to kind of show how this works, let's say you tried 5. That would give you 1, and then 5, and then 4, and then 20, and then 0. That gives you x plus 4, which is the other factor that we had here. So there are ways around factoring if you need them, but you don't need to divide anymore after you get a 0 if you don't want to. The last piece, identify all zeros. X equals 1 is going to be from x minus 1. From x plus 4, we're going to have x equals negative 4. And from x minus 5, we're going to have x equals 5.